Stopped at an overnight dispersed camping spot just off Highway 50. Nobody else here yet. It's pretty early. It's like 2 o'clock. Got some nice views of the mountains. I'm in Fernley, Nevada, and it's lower elevation, so I'm got the fan on because it's a little warm in here right now. After so many months and weeks and months of being at a higher elevation with a cooler temp, it's hard to come back down to the lower elevations and heat, I must say. Well, it's the next morning after staying overnight at this spot that I found on freecampsites.net. And it was a relatively peaceful night, even though I'm close to the highway there. Once I close windows and stuff, I don't hear too much, so that's good. I don't know if any other travelers joined me here. Doesn't look like it. But there wasn't very many options for places to stay here in Fernley. There was one place that you paid $20 a night, and I texted the person, but they never got back to me. Wow, that sky is blue. So this was one of my few options. I think I'm about maybe only 30 minutes outside of Reno, Nevada. And there's, I think, some shenanigans going on here because all day yesterday after I got here, which was around midday, there's cars coming up from, where I came in over here, and they're driving along this road here. And then they're going back in there somewhere, not too far. And then after a few minutes, they're coming back out again and leaving. Car after car after car after car. And I thought, of course, I bet you it's a drug pickup. So, I felt a little nervous about staying here last night, and felt a little sketchy to me. And sure enough, I had a nightmare dream where I was sleeping and I heard a bit of noise, and I got up, and in my dream, mind you, and I found that they had smashed in a lot of things. They'd done damage to the body of my car. They had smashed in a window. They ripped my door off. And what else? The kitchen window was out as well. And I'm like, oh my God, how did I not hear that? How come I slept through most of that? That's so bizarre. And I decided to go, in my dream, mind you, in real life I wouldn't do it, to go check out, Well, in my dream it didn't look like this at all, though. It was totally different looking. But in my dream I went to go check out what it was. And while I was gone, I had it parked in front of this building in the dream. And when I came back out again after trying to get away from the bad situation that I found in there, because that definitely was some shenanigans going on, they had completely demolished my rig down to, it was like different pieces on the ground and stuff. And I was like majorly panicking and so sad and so upset, of course, and thinking, okay, how the heck do I get out of here? This is not a good situation here, And then I think I forced myself to wake up. It was too scary. So I'm glad my rig is okay. I'm glad I'm okay. I'm going to pack up here and get ready to get out of here and head towards Reno. My camping spot tonight is at a place called Cottonwood Creek Campground, and it's up north of Truckee, California, so not actually too far from Lake Tahoe. I was thinking of taking a detour today and going to Lake Tahoe, but I don't think I will, not this time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the pretty drive today. I should mention too that I did have one guy yesterday in the afternoon kind of park his truck not too far from me, and he was idling there for a while. And I'm looking out at the window at him, and he's just sitting there, and I think he was looking over at my rig, but I couldn't quite tell. And then, you know, he was there a couple minutes only, and then he revved up his engine a few times and took off, you know, so I think he was trying to send a message. And I had a truck last night honk the horn several times, beep, 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 beep. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. But after that, I didn't hear anything, so thank God I made it through. I have to mention, I did get a little warm in here last night, or after, it started in the afternoon, of course, where it was getting in the 80s in here. What time? I think I checked around 4 o'clock, and my temperature gauge said it was 88 degrees in here, so it's a little warm for me. And I put the fan on, but the overhead fan wasn't helping a whole lot. But of course, as in the desert, once the sun sets, it started to cool down quite a bit, and that felt so great. But after spending nearly, you know, almost 2 months up in the higher elevations in the cooler weather, it's hard to be back to the hot weather again. I hate getting too hot. I just hate it. It's not fun. I decided to pay to get my rig washed at a truck wash here at Blue Beacon, and they did my tires too for me, which they look so nice, the nicest they've ever looked. And I opted for the Rain-X wax, so it did a great job with the waxing. And I think it turned out great. I love how she looks. She's looking good, nice and clean and shiny. Driving on a SR70, and I'm in my home state of California now, and it's quite beautiful. I'm glad to be back. Phew, I made it. I'm not quite to my destination yet. I've got about 20 more minutes to go, but I can't check in till 2 o'clock, and it's only about 12:30, so I've got a little time to kill. So I just stopped at a little town called Loyaltton, and I love it already. It's such a cute little town, and it's a beautiful area. Never been on this side of the Sierras, and where I'm at, it's just beautiful. So then I drove towards Reno, and boy, it was hard to get back into a big city again. Nerve-wracking, definitely, driving in a big city. I needed to do some shopping at Whole Foods, so I stopped at a beautiful Whole Foods to get some groceries to tide me over for the next week. And then I headed out of town. So, you know, I'm going to a campground north of Truckee. And one way I could have gone is over Donner Pass, or partly over Donner Pass to get there, but I knew I didn't want to do, if I could avoid it, I wanted to not do Donner Pass. So went on to Chat GPT, and I asked a question. I said, what would be the least stressful way for me to go from here to here, you know, in my 27-foot RV? And so it gave me this alternate route, and they said, you know, this part has wide open roads, and, you know, it's a gentle incline and gentle descent and stuff. And so I took that route, and indeed it was exactly what ChatGPT said. And it was taking 395 north from Reno, and then cutting over on Highway 70 and then Highway 49 towards Sierraville. And it was quite a pleasant and beautiful drive, just so pretty. I just can't believe how gorgeous everything is. On this trip, you know, it's like, it's just the pleasure of driving, you know. And I'm glad to be back in California for its low maximum limit speed driving, you know. 65 miles per hour is what it was just now, and that's more my cup of tea, and not 80 miles an hour like it was in Idaho and Montana and stuff. So I'm glad to be back to that. I'm not glad to be back to the high gas prices in California. But other than that, it feels great to be back. It's so beautiful. You know, California, particularly Northern California, but I think all over California, we have a lot of really charming towns here, really charming. And this one, Loyaltton, looks like no exception. It looks really nice. There's a museum 1 block down the road that I might go check out, but I don't know if I feel like going to a museum. But I'll show you around a little bit. Past a really sweet like inn back there. I thought, wouldn't that be a wonderful getaway to stay there, you know? So let me turn you around and show you out the window what I'm looking at. So there it is. I think I've heard of this town, but not much, you know, just the name sounds familiar, but that's all I know about it. I have to say, one thing that's been fun on this trip is to see these, you know, definitely these little small towns are really fun to see. I don't know what elevation I'm at right now. Maybe, I mean, maybe 5,000, I think. So, I mean, it feels pretty warm, so I think we're at a lower elevation than I have been. I'm in Sierra County. Oh my God, look at this. Somebody built a little railway. Sierra Valley Art and AG Trail. Oh my God, can I walk through this? Well, I don't know if this is private or not. Let me go see. Wasn't able to find a way in. It's Sunday, so it might be closed. But that is so cute. Somebody built a little miniature railroad town. I mean, all the way down there. We're right next to City Hall, so I'm thinking this might be open to the public. I mean, it seems like a little park, you know? How sweet is that? This house, I could live in this house. It's the color I like and just the right size. And a great garden. But yeah, it's really quaint. Well, now I'm curious about Loyaltton. I need to research the history. Part of the reason I love these small towns is because they're usually historic, you know. Have lots of great history to them. These are some of my favorite flowers. I think these are climbing clematis, if I'm not mistaken, but I love the heart-shaped leaf. Oh! Oh! Hi, doggies! Hi! 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 Hi, you guys! Hi! 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 I was admiring the flower. Look at their cute little library. It's so tiny. I love that building too. I wonder what this is. Probably some kind of farm equipment. All right, well, it's getting warm in here. I guess I'm going to get going. I arrived at my campground. It's not very busy here at all. It's only occupied maybe 10% or something. A lot of it seems to be first come, first serve, and as well as reserved, which I reserved my spot. There I am over there. Beautiful pine trees all around. I got a fairly level spot. But I did have to put levelers on the back. But I'm very concerned because I'm supposed to be here 3 nights, and I need to be able to work the next 3 days. And so far, I haven't been able to get a good Starlink signal because of all the trees blocking. And it's weird because it's a little frustrating because, I do an internet speed test and it seems to be pretty good, and then the next second it's really bad, so it's all over the map right now. I'm going to leave it up for a while and see if it improves. I mean, there is a patch of sky here. But I'm finding with Starlink that if I have any trees whatsoever like this, it just doesn't work that well, and I need pretty high speeds to be able to work. So, unfortunately in this campground, they don't seem to have like a day use area that's wide open and I couldn't find anywhere that I could even drive to during the day to park and work. That has open sky. It's all, this is the Sierras, so it's pretty, lots of trees everywhere. So I don't know if I can stay the 3 nights after all. If I don't get good speeds, I'm not going to be able to work, and that's not going to be good. So I may have to go see how it goes tomorrow, Monday, for work, and if it's not working, I'll have to leave on Tuesday and try to find something else. It's too bad because it's a really great spot here. I'm loving this. It's really quiet. Once again, I have some beautiful views out my windows, and it's just really, really nice. So, I don't know. It's a bit frustrating that I still have to work, and I wish I didn't have to work, and deal with this. But, there's a good patch of sky there that's open. Well, I'll have to see how it goes. Gonna kind of do a simple camping meal. Today when I was at Whole Foods, I bought some kielbasa, which I've only bought kielbasa a couple of times in my life, and I thought I would try it. It's already cooked, so it's just a matter of browning it. And then I'm going to chop up some onions. So I'll brown this first, and I'll chop up some onions and then soften that. And then I'll cut this Romanesco broccoli up and put that in there, and then as well as some sweet potato that I have that I need to use up. And that's going to be dinner. It's smelling really delicious in here. I bet you some apples would be good in there too. I looked online and there's a lot of things you can do with kielbasa. I just took my first bite and it's very tasty actually. Everything's cooked just right. I think I cooked it about 20 minutes. I added some salt and some garlic powder, and it's really delicious. Oh, I also added some butter. Butter makes everything taste great, right? It was super quiet last night, of course. Looks like these people are a no-show. I feel like I have this loop pretty much to myself. Just decided to go out for a little walk around the campground. So I did get online this morning and was able to do some work, which was a huge relief because I didn't want to have to take my levelers out and, go drive somewhere else to try to work. So I felt so happy and relieved and lucky that I can get some signal. I mean, it's a little slower than usual, but enough that I could do my job this morning. So that was a great stroke of luck there. Oh man, it's so peaceful and quiet. I just hear the birds and the wind and the trees. It's wonderful to camp off season, Because, I have to say, out of all the camping that I've done, I still prefer campgrounds, but only when they're not very occupied. I prefer campgrounds over Boondockers Welcome. I guess I prefer it over dispersed because I don't have to deal with any gnarly roads and, the risk factor and the nerves that I, would have with that. At this point in my life, I welcome the least amount of stress I can have. Even though, that one dispersed camping spot I did at the beginning of my trip was really wonderful. But I think those where the road in is really nice and not too bad and nobody's around and you have it to yourself, and I don't know how common those types of places are. I prefer the known factor of campgrounds, the fact that, you have water, you have a picnic table, some of them include the dump station, so it's just that convenience factor as well. Look at this tree, wow, it's beautiful. Hello, tree. Looks like some woodpeckers may have worked on you. This morning I'm just really enjoying being able to have all of my back windows open and just sit back there and look at the trees and the beauty around me. It's my favorite thing to do in my rig. This is one of the longest trips I've ever been on in my life, and I've seen so much beauty on this trip, and wildlife, and had some amazing adventures that it's hard to go back to the mundane, ordinary life. I can see why people get addicted to this lifestyle. I was thinking that this style of doing it, where you have just 7 weeks to visit 5 national parks, it's a lot of driving and movement and breaking camp, and gosh, so far I haven't seen any campers here. I guess they're all gone. Driving to the next spot, and a lot of times it's just one-nighters and stuff like that. So it's just more challenging in general to do it that way. And that's why I think I could only do maybe one of these big trips once a year. But I was thinking that, it'll be nice if I can maybe just do some camping trips where I go somewhere, and then stay for 3 nights or something like I'm doing here. And this morning I woke up and I was thinking for half a second, all right, get up, get packed, get everything put away safely. And then I realized, oh, no, yay, you get to stay. You don't have to move again. And in fact, you've got 2 more nights here. Yay. So I was just so relieved and happy about that. So I was thinking, yeah, it'll be nice for me to do some local camping trips and be able to just go to a destination and stay for a few nights and then go back home, This campground is only $10 a night with my senior pass. So quite the deal. This little trail is right off of my campsite. I'm not going to go on it though, I don't think. I just want to go see the water. There it is, trickling the water. Nice. It's a little bit colder this morning. It was 37 degrees when I woke up inside my rig. No, wait, I'm sorry. It was 37 degrees outside, but 47 degrees inside my rig. Let's just check it out a little bit further where this trail goes. This is bear country, so I do have my bear spray with me. And nobody's, really around, so I just want to be careful. But I had another really quiet, peaceful night. I just can't get over how quiet it is. I don't look forward to going back to the noisy area in which I live. Yeah, I'm kind of amazed with myself that with this anxiety that I'm experiencing, I think I probably always had some anxiety, but it used to be more mild and now it's just more severe. But despite the anxiety, I'm pushing myself to do some things, that I'm comfortable doing. And this whole trip was definitely pushing through a lot of fears and anxiety to do it. My sister said to me that she thinks when I'm staying in places like this by myself that I'm kind of a sitting duck. So she worries about me, but I think that there's not going to be too many serial killers or criminals up here in this kind of atmosphere. So Oh, yeah. So, you know, and the nice thing is, inside my rig, I do feel safer than if I was in a tent, that's for sure. I have all my but I pretty much had this campground to myself. Maybe there was a couple of campers over there, but not much. So this is my official last day of the trip. Another glare again. What the heck? I gotta get away from that. There we go. No, it's glaring again. Anyway, this is my last day. And my sister was asking me, are you happy to be coming back or are you sad? And I was like, well, I would say it's a mixed bag, you know. Overall, I'm sad to be stopping doing this because it's pretty awesome. I've had a fabulous time on this trip. Just fantastic. Yeah, all the beauty that I saw. All, you know, knocked out 5 national parks. Wow, that's pretty great. And pushing myself through some of the challenges and figuring things out as I went, and you know, just gaining more in confidence and stuff it's just a great feeling of accomplishment. So it's great. Good for me. Better than, you know, living a life of ordinariness. I like being out here in nature, and I like seeing new places. It's just, it's exciting, you know, for sure. By the same token, I'm getting over the driving part, you know. I mean, it's like I was saying the other day, or yesterday, I think it was. I actually like driving, but it's the other drivers that stress me out. So that part's hard for me, the driving. And I think it's, you know, it is partly due to the fact that I'm in a larger vehicle, because I noticed that in my regular car, while I feel some anxiety, it's not nearly as pronounced, for sure. So it does have to do with the fact I'm in a bigger vehicle. And I don't like going down descents and, you know, going up ascents because my rig struggles. I was debating which way to go tomorrow, because there's 2 passes that you can take. There's Yuba Pass and there is Donner Pass. And I asked ChatGPT which one to take, and it told me to take Donner Pass, which is I-80, whereas Google AI told me to take Yuba Pass. But ChatGPT seemed a little more detailed, and it has some of, you know, it starts out pretty nice, but then towards the end of Yuba Pass, you're on those tight, narrow, lots of winding roads, steep drop-offs, no guardrails. Oh God, that kind of mountain driving would give me a heart attack. So I've decided to do Donner Pass. It's 30 miles of, I think 30 miles of descent, and so I'm worried about that, because that's a long way, you know, that's a long descent. And I don't want to overheat my brakes, but I'll be over in the slow lane, and hopefully it'll be just fine. Okay, I just ran into a couple with their dog, and they're going to go on the hike. I can hear he has a bear bell on him. That's a good idea, to have a bear bell, I think. Especially if you're hiking alone, you know, just to let them know that you are around. Anyways, I stopped the phone there for a second. What was I saying? Yeah, so anyways, ChatGPT convinced me that taking Donner Pass would be better. It's a little longer, but it's better, and less of those stressful, steep mountain roads. And it was saying that locals can go fast around those curves, and I don't want to be hit from behind. So it sounds like a beautiful road, though, and it takes you down into Nevada City and Grass Valley, which are some really cool gold rush towns. I think I still will be going through those towns, so if I do, I'll show them to you. Yeah, Donner Pass it is. I was reading online a Facebook page that somebody recommended, and I think it's a good idea that if you've just done a long pass where you're descending quite a long distance, you know, stop at a rest stop and just check your brakes and make sure that they're not overheated. And if they are, give them a rest, you know. So, okay. I don't know if I should turn you around because it just keeps doing glares. I don't know, but I'm in shade, so I don't understand where it's coming from. Where the heck is that sun coming from? The sun's over there to my left. I guess it's hitting here. Okay, going into the sun. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip. I totally loved it. And I hope I have it in me to go to Utah next year and see the parks there. Yeah, because that's really another goal I have, is to do the Utah parks. And maybe tackle Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico. I've seen the Grand Canyon, although I might want to visit again, because the time I went, it was with my aunt, and we got there a little late, I think, late in the day. In the afternoon, it was a little bit rushed. So, I'd love to go again. So, if I'm in the vicinity, I might do that. But, yeah, this is just quite wonderful. It's really nice to do this lifestyle. I'm already thinking and trying to plan what I want to do next. Got all my charging panels out again this morning. There's really only good sun here in the late morning, early afternoon, and then after that it kind of gets too shaded here and I can't charge. So taking full advantage. I did end up turning on my generator yesterday for a couple of hours in the afternoon in order to charge my portable batteries and turn on the AC. It did get a bit hot in there, and I might have to do it again today. Well, it's the last morning here at this wonderful campground, and getting packed up and ready to leave, and I can feel my anxiety starting to build. Actually, it started early this morning, last night really. I think this is the most nervous I've been on this entire trip that I've been on for the last nearly 2 months. And it's because I have to do Donner Pass. Maybe it's because I kind of know what to expect. And I know it's going to take at least an hour to get down this mountain on Donner Pass, and it's 6% grades, off and on, but then so that's bad enough. But the other bad thing is that there is no dump station here, so I'm going to have to go down the mountain with I think my freshwater tank is at 1/3. I think my gray water is at 1/3, and my black water is at 2/3. So not ideal to be going down with tanks full. I just feel like it's going to put even more pressure on the brakes, But I'm going to stay far to the right. I'm going to use engine braking, and I'm going to, there's several rest stops along the way. I'm going to definitely pull off and take my time and regroup and reset and let the brakes cool down, check them and stuff like that. So I'll probably stop at least 3 times during that hour-long descent and make sure everything's okay. And just take my time. I kind of want to get it over with, but I'm going to just try to force myself to take those rest stops and check that things are fine. So, yeah, wish me luck. I'm definitely nervous about this. And before I even get to Donner Pass, which I have to take 89 from here to Truckee, and that's about a half an hour, and I think that's got some descent to it as well. So I have like a good hour and a half of descents. So I'm nervous.